a little later. Welcome to Matchday Live and to my two guests, Steve McManaman and Darren Bent. I'm not quite sure we'll get a song out of either of these two over the next few hours, but you just never know. But Manchester City fans might be in good voice today after what happened at the Emirates Stadium only a few hours ago, of course. Arsenal, for the third consecutive game, have dropped points and drawn, this time to the bottom club Southampton. And what ramifications in terms of the Premier League title race? Darren, you were there. What happened to the team I know you follow quite closely?
Yeah, it was just one of them things where you wanted a recovery after the West Ham result and the Liverpool result, you get a point. But you go into last night at home at the Emirates, you're thinking maximum points, get back on track with the big game to come against Manchester City. You can see after 35 seconds, everyone's on edge, and it just felt, certainly after that first goal from Alcaraz, that everyone was a little bit nervous. And fair play to Southampton. If they could put that type of performance in every single week, they probably wouldn't be where they are in the table. That's a fact. But for Arsenal now, they know what they've got to do. The picture hasn't changed. They have to go to the Etihad on Wednesday and win, and that will, I guess, determine who wins the title this year.
I think it's the optics of it all as well.
Yeah.
You know, that's what it is. If this was a game in the middle of November and it was a 3-3 result, you'd go, fair enough, you know, they would just had an off day. But after the Liverpool game 2-0 up, after the West Ham game 2-0 up, and everybody talking about, oh, mentally, are they strong enough? Are they bottling it? The fact that it was top against bottom yesterday, I think that was a bigger result than what people thought. Because, yes, they should have turned up last night and won convincingly. Of course they should have. But the fact that they didn't, and they've dropped more points, you know, people have now got a perception about Arsenal that they need to change straight away. And, you know, I mean, they've got the perfect game on Wednesday, haven't they? Of course, they have to put it right.
Interestingly, Lee Dixon on Matchday Live, when covering the game, said nerves are starting to kick in. And when you've got such a young squad, this was almost inevitable, though, right? Yeah,
it was, of course, because none of them players, other than Zinchenko and Gabriel Jesus, have been in this position before, probably in their careers, in terms of winning the Premier League or having the chance to win the Premier League. So when it gets to this type of situation in the season where every point is vital, if you drop points, Manchester City are coming, of course there's bound to be a few nerves. But when you obviously have looked at Manchester City, who've been there and done it so many times, they're calm in this type of situation. But it almost feels like all season people have said about Arsenal, I'm expecting them to fall off a cliff. When is that going to come? When they're going to start to bottle it? And I couldn't see it happening, but it just feels like the last, even though they're 10 unbeaten, and you'd go, wow, that is an incredible run. 10 unbeaten, any team would take that. It's the last three results where all of a sudden
have happened yesterday, should it? No, it shouldn't have happened yesterday. I get that. I get the fact when it's nerves, when you're talking about, you know, Manchester City away and you know, the adrenaline's starting to kick in, you've got butterflies. But after Liverpool and West Ham, they're difficult away games in itself. Of course they are. Yeah. But when you're back at home, in front of a full house against a team who are struggling, it shouldn't have been about nerves. No. You've got full internationals right across the park, playing in World Cups, playing all across Europe. You don't have nerves playing at the Emirates in front of a team bottom of the league. You go out and you show how mentally strong you are and you get the job done.
Look, and before we navigate the run-in for both City and for Arsenal, Jesus and Arteta, after the game last night, said it's a must-win game at the Etihad on Wednesday. Do you agree?
Yeah, I would have said that anyway. I think they had to go there and get the result. I think maybe there might be no nerves. Mac was talking about the nerves against Southampton. I think because they know what they've got to do against Manchester City, you can't go there and be nervous now. You know you've got to go there and win. If you don't win, Manchester City win the title. It's as simple as that. So you have to go there, put a performance in, show up, each man to themselves, go there, attack, don't sit in, go and try and win the game. And if you win, you're back in the ascendancy. If you get beat, it's Manchester City's.
Arsenal haven't won at the Etihad in the league for almost 8 years.
Time for a change, isn't there?
Yeah, I mean, that means nothing to me. I mean, Manchester City have been dominant for those times, haven't they? Yeah. But the fact that Arsenal are probably in their best form they have been in a number of years, not the level of form, but where they are situated in the league. As Benty said, they have to go. Shackles off. They need to go and perform well. And well, if they can win, go and win. But the fact that we've seen City over the last 5 or 6 years win. You feel that Arsenal have to win. Yes, if they go there and get a draw and City win their 2 games in hand, you know, there's a lot of ifs, but they have to go there. And for me, they have to not lose. But City have got it in their hands now, and that's the scary thing about it.
So Arsenal looking for a response. City have won the last 10-0 competitions. It almost heightens expectations for what's to come on Wednesday. And what is a huge fixture for Arsenal? The run-in is very much more straightforward. It's all about the league as far as they're concerned. For Manchester City, they've got to navigate themselves. I mean, they've got a FA Cup semi-final to get through. As it's today, as it happens. They've got the Champions League, Real Madrid, of course, to get through too. But what do we think? who's got the upper hand in terms of the games left?
Well, Arsenal's next 4 fixtures are horrible. However way you look at it, Manchester City, Chelsea, I know they're not the Chelsea of old, but they're still a good player with very, very good squad of players. Newcastle away, St James's Park. We saw Arsenal last season get turned over there. And Brighton are probably one of the most informed and hardest teams to play against in the Premier League currently right now. So I think the next 4 fixtures for Arsenal tell us exactly where they are. I know they're top of the table right now, but to win them 4 next fixtures, they would have earned the right to win the title if they can win them next 4.
Yeah. Steve?
I mean, when you look at Manchester City's, Manish, it's all about the volume, isn't it? They've got a lot of hard games in there because they've got so many games. Real Madrid thrown in, Everton away, Brentford away, Brighton away. They're difficult games to navigate. City can do that because they've shown us they can do that. They've shown us that they can go and win every single one of those games. So I've got no problem with it. I think what you have to look forward, as Benty said, is the Arsenal fixtures. If Arsenal go and beat Manchester City, that's the end of it. Arsenal are back favourites again. So it's as simple as that. They go and win, they're favourites. And then you worry about what Arsenal have got. And if Arsenal do beat Manchester City, I can see them go and win in every single game then with the confidence they will get out of it.
It's interesting, though. I'm asking you for your kind of predictions when you look ahead. But nobody saw Arsenal coming to the team bottom of the league.
Correct.
That could happen at any given time, right? Between now and the end of the season.
Yes, it can. And the only thing we can go on is, the only thing I can go on when I talk is history.
Yeah.
And I've seen Manchester City win since January when they pipped Liverpool to the title that time. And I've seen them win games when they're under pressure. And I've seen them win games when they've got 2-3 games a week thrown in with the Champions League games. I've seen them do it. So I believe they will do it again this year. That's all I can go on at this moment in time.
Are they going to take some picking up for Wednesday?
Oh, well, no.
Because their body language I just think the body language at full time.
On the floor, I get all that. But I think that the motivation now is it's one game. At the start of the season, if Arteta had said to them, listen, you've got one game to effectively win the title, you go to Etihad and win, do you want to take it? I think they all would have taken it, and that's what it's come down to. They can't go there with any nerves. The shackles are off. They're expected to get beat. Every single person on this planet thinks Arsenal will lose at the Etihad. Go and prove people wrong. Shackles off. Go and play. And there's no reason why they can't. We've seen Brentford go to the Etihad and get a result. Why can't Arsenal?
Yeah, OK. Well, that's the title race. We're focusing on events towards the bottom end, particularly for Leeds United, who find themselves just 2 points clear of the bottom 3. They're away to Fulham today in our first live game at Craven Cottage.